Hi, I'm going to be taking you on a tutorial video on DolphJs. So I'm going to be working on a blog project, right? We're building a blog API with DolphJs, MongoDB for our database, and REST APIs actually. So I'm here on the DolphJs documentation. You see the link here. I'll add it to the video description. So DolphJs, NodeJs framework, all these stuff you could read them. So we're just going to go straight into it. So I'm planning on making this tutorial in parts, right? The first part is going to be the very basics, and we're going to build this blog from ground up, this blog API from the very basics of things, and we'll keep on modifying it till we get the best. Yeah, so we are recommended to have NodeJs version 18 and above, the DolphJs CLI. So DolphJs CLI could be installed as seen here. I already have that, but so basically this is what you do. You install it. I already have it, so I'm not going to do it. And yeah, so just to confirm, so I have version 1.3.0. yeah, so let's go straight to the project. I mean, you could go here, check out the overview. Now we check out all these things, right? So this is the installation. I have to install all these peer dependencies there. So I just ran this command. Now to go straight into the application, which is building a new application. So I'm just going to move into mine. Okay, I think it's YouTube here. Okay, or better still, I could just run the Dove new command, right, which is going to create a new DolphJs application. Dove, right? Yes. Blog API. Okay. TypeScript, OP, Mongo, Spring. Please make sure to check Spring, not Express. So Express is currently not fully supported. Express is for simple applications, like maybe to-do apps, blogs, stuff like that. But we are planning on building a bigger type of blog, right? A large application. So we use the Spring. Yeah. So cd into our DolphJs blog API, and I'll open this with code. Yeah. So I have that VS Code. Okay. So we have all the DolphJs configurations here. I don't need you. Okay, we have them. Yep. This is the most important file in your DolphJs application, the dovconfig.yaml. It's the configuration. Without this file, your DolphJs application is literally not going to start. Yeah, that's how important it is. So here we'll just install the packages, right? So it comes with, as you can see, this package is already app.server, DolphJs blog API, and all of this. So you could use npm, pnpm, or whatever you use, but I use yarn, so I'm just going to install yarn. Right. Okay, so let's go through this. So overview, guide, core fundamentals of DolphJs. So you might be wondering, why should you use DolphJs? Well, there's a lot of perks that comes with it, right? That allows for faster development. It gives you this kind of guide, right, whereby it's built mainly for enterprise applications, right? So that means that you are always okay. This is done, right? So for enterprise applications, which means you don't really need to set up a lot of things, right, to get your application running. You understand? So that's one of the reasons why I love DolphJs. And so we have our server.ts file. Yep. So it's basically empty. It's nothing here. I mean, we could run this Dove watch. That's in development mode, right? So this Dove watch is the CLI. The CLI comes with a watcher, a daemon for that. So you see the dev start here. That's the command I called. Yeah. So it's not like I got it from any out of space or something. So we have it running in development mode. So this is something that's important, right? The env file reads your node env environment. So if I had production here, then it's going to be running in production mode. So whatever you have there is what's going to influence we are going to have here, right? As you can see, it's running in production mode. So it reads our .env file and looks for the node env. And this production mode limits it scraps off some things and prepares it for production, right? But in our case, we're going development, so I'll just take it back to development. Yeah. Okay. So now we have our server running. That's like the most basic thing. As you can see, we set up everything and it's crazy already. Initializing 90 milliseconds and the rest. So we see this warning here, right? JSON limit value should be added to Dolph config. Yeah. So this is basically the limits of JSON data that should be transferred between the server, right? So we should add this JSON limits. Okay, so we add it here, and let's say the value I want to give it 2 MB. Yep, we'll have to reload anytime we update our Dolph config. Yeah, we have to reload. Okay, now that it's added, you see we don't have that, we don't get that error again. Okay, so now let's go into the more fun parts, you know, building components and stuff like that. So if you check these, you can see where are we? Okay, use a tribe or script rather, where we have the different scripts that we could use. Oh really? Sorry, I'll bring the usage. Okay, so we have these, Dolph build, Dolph starts bone. Yeah, so this is if you want to use bone instead of NodeJs running it. And Dolph generate should be somewhere here. So the Dolph generates schematic and the name is what we're going to use in generating controllers, services, modules, components, routes and all, right? So Dolph generates, or you could just use G for short. So I want to generate all the components, all the main files of a component. So I'm going to minus A. Then all the components post, right? Because in a blog we want to have post. Let me do this. Yep. So in a blog, right, we want to have posts. We want to have users. Yeah. We want to have comments and things like this. But first of all, we're going to always post first. We're going to build that. We're going to create, read, update, and delete posts. That's the most basic thing. That's what we're going to do in this first part of the video, right? So those generate all. If you use these components, this will create only a component. If you use these, only a controller, right? Okay, so that has been created. That was fast. And we'll have to register the posts component here. So we can have to register it here. Server.cs. As you can see, then I'll register the service too. The controller was registered for us. Okay, so post says.cs, right? It already registers the model. So DolphJs comes with like a very nice support. Comes with very nice support for MongoDB. Oh really? As you can see here, right, it has registered the routes. So where is this route? As you can see in our controller. Yep. So /greet, so /post/greet, as you see here, /post/greet. So I want to walk you through the config file for a sec. Techniques, configuration. So now we look at the configuration file, right? It could expand like this, and we'll make use of most of the things in here. For example, the database part of it. Okay, so I'll need that for my configuration file because I want to use MongoDB, remember. Okay, so I don't need the options. I think it's okay. So I think I'll just connect to my local MongoDB. I'll just connect to my local MongoDB database that's currently running on Docker. So this is the connection string. Right, I'll stash DolphJs blog. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so you also restart this. MongoDB has been connected. So all we needed to do was just to add this DolphJs reads it for us, right? See, that's actually wonderful. That's nice. It handles the whole errors and all those things and logs them to us as expected. Now you might be wondering, well, our URL is exposed, and what if you want it to be, like when we have in production that we're making use of Atlas, or you understand, right? We don't want our URL to be exposed to the public, so we use the env. So there's something that DolphJs does. If you use this sensitive here, you're going to tell DolphJs to look into your .env file for a Mongo URL environment. So this is where we're going to put these, right? So as you tell DolphJs to do that, it's going to look into the .env file and get, oh my, I didn't add the, you see, MongoDB connected. I didn't add the DolphJs, I think, blog, right? That was what I added. So let me just restart this. Okay. Yeah. So we have it running now. So just sensitive, right? I think that's kind of cool. So something else we'll be needing here, as you can see, yeah, we need to set up calls. So this is one way of setting up calls, the easiest way and my most preferred way. Yeah, so we have calls activate true. The activate must be true in order for this to work. I'll just give it all origins for now. Loud headers, we could have posts. Oh, sorry. No, now you got into this. I won't bore you. Once you reach there, we'll cross. So routing, yeah, what routing does. One of my favorite parts of this. So I'll just search API. I think that's enough. So reloading this so that you see what. Take note of. Really. Let me remove this. I want to show you something. Okay. So reload. Now take note of this /post/greets, and one of the things I didn't do was to make you experience this. So let's visit this web page. Let's visit this endpoint first. So localhost 3,300, right? Localhost 3,300/API/greets. Oh, sorry. /posts/greets. You've reached the post endpoint. Yep. And we get it log here. Like get request was made with 200. And if we check the post controller, what does it say? You've reached the post endpoint. Now let's update the routing. So /API and see what we get here. Okay, so you see it's updated with, it's prepended with /API in front. So whatever we have here, if you add /API/v1, then we'll have /API/v1 for all the endpoints that are going to come out here. So if I was to call this endpoint again, this endpoint doesn't exist, right? So if I was to append API, I've reached the post endpoint again. Okay, so okay, that's set up. I think this is what we need for our configuration file for now. We have MongoDB connected, we have calls set up, we have routing, we have pretty much everything we need. So let's just dive into the most fun part, probably what you've been here for. And first of all, let's set up a very simple database structure. So for our post, I'm not going to use an author and all those things. I just want to create posts for now, you understand? So let's have a title, alright, title of type string. Let's have is a description necessary? Yeah, let's just take a description, and we'll have a body or content. Let's just say body or string, right? Then we'll have it created as, which is kind of necessary, I guess. Right. The date. Okay. So we'll just set up this in our schema. Yeah, the title. Let's just make it require true. let's keep it simple, right? Description, type of string, required false, so we just leave it like that. Okay. I think what was the next field? Body. So the body is type of string, it's not required. So okay, so here we have timestamps so that we have the created data with that true. I don't need the version key. I'll be using that. Okay, so we have these, and well, this is very simple and straightforward. So we have the post model updated. Now in our controller right now, I think I'm not making use of the constructor, so I could remove this and we won't have an issue. So first of all, let's create a post, right? So let's write an endpoint for that. So we're going to create a service first. Create a service. I'll call this as same create post. So what this does is let's just say get a DTO. So we love working with DTOs in DolphJs. Post.dto.ts. I'm going to call this. Okay, so I'm going to install some packages here right now. So let's install yarn add class transformer and class can you imagine I just forgot the name of that package, class transformer and class validator. Yeah, that's actually the main package we need. Okay, so we're going to add types for it. I think it needs types. Oh, network issues. Really? What's the error? Not found. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't exist, so I guess we are okay. So export class create posts DTO. So this is basically like the way we have the syntax and stuff. So title of string, we have the description, right? Of string, we have our content, sorry, body of string, right? So now import from class validator. We have at is string. Yep. It's not empty since it's not supposed to be empty. We have description. It's optional, right? Because description was not required. That's the same thing with our body. Oh, sorry, our body should actually not be optional, but don't worry, as we progress, we're going to take note of that. We'll add other things like the maximum limit of characters, words, and stuff like that, right? So I think this is the basics, and it gets us going. So create post DTO. Yep. So by the way, I'm actually using an auto importer that imports it for me automatically, in case you're wondering. Okay, so this is actually a very simple database call. Return this dot post model dot create. So just create bit here, and we're returning it. So if you look at this, you see what we're returning. So you could decide to add these or not, up to you. Okay, so in our controllers, and let me explain something. Once you have a service here, so imagine I had like maybe 10 other services, like the user service, for instance, and stuff like that, right? It's available to the controller by default, so it's injected into the controller. So all of them are injected into the controller, and the controller can access them easily by just registering them here. So we have post service, type of post service, right? Yeah, so post service has been imported, and note the same spelling, the same way the service file is, right? The same way it is here, post service has to be the same way it is on the left and right side, right, for this to work. Okay, so this is going to be a post request, right? So this is a post request. So let's say create, I want to create async create post, or we could just leave it as create since this is on that post and it's obvious that we are creating. So these are the response and the request and response parameters. So I'm basically taking us through this tutorial with the perspective here that you have experience in NestJS or Express, right? Or you understand NodeJs itself. So that's why I'm not really explaining things deeply. There's going to be a video that's going to be for, you know, newbies, people that are just starting out and they choose DolphJs as their first. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to first of all introduce the try catch async deck. So this is a decorator that's used for wrapping the whole functions, and all the functions are called through it, including the service, in try catch. So instead of you writing your try catch, you just call this decorator, and we'll have the use middleware. Now I'll explain this as we go forward. So the use middleware, we have the validate body middleware. Now all of these are imported, by the way, so auto import does that for me. So you're passing our DTO here, our create post DTO. So what this validate body middleware does is that it takes a DTO that we've written in class validator, right, and it validates it from the body. So it's expecting this from the body, right? So I think, let me open my postman. Right. Okay, so now that we have that, we could literally just have this, because we're expecting a result, right, from our service. It's returning something. So this is the post service dot create post, and could just pass in request dot body. Yeah, it's very straight and simple. Okay, so or if you are into, you know, the whole type stuffs, right, you could have these, and into yeah, I'm going to assign this to request dot body, then you pass in body here, right? This works too, but I try my best to reduce the number of lines of codes that I have, except there's no option. So you always have to return a response so that you won't leave the server hanging. And we have these for sending JSON data, and we have these for sending plain text. And in our case, we want to send JSON data back, right? So body, and I'm going to send a message also. So post created successfully, and we'll have our actual data here, which is the results. So yeah, let's just do this and see. And what am I getting here? Okay. So by the way, success response is imported. So all these things, when you see me type them and you want that, please, I'm using an auto importer. And also note, I mean, normally this would make more sense, this looks better, right? But the try catch async deck shouldn't always come before the use middleware, because if it does, since it's a try catch async, it's going to block this, and your request would never the what is in the use middleware will never work, right? So I have sample data to start with first. So, you know, create post API slash post, as you can see here, slash create, we have this. So now first of all, I'm going to test our validator, right? Because our validator says that title should not be empty, which means it's not optional, unlike this two. Okay, you see we get bad requests, right? Where is view more actions coming from? Okay, validation failed, title should not be empty, title must be a string. We don't have title, that's the reason for this. So we could put in title here. We also put title as number 2. Let's see this, we get title must be a string again. Okay, first post, I think this is actually nice. So if I send this and yeah, we get our success response back. Post created successfully. You see the data, right? First post description. This is my first post. You get the ID. Created that. So you could even look at this in the database. Also connect database. Yeah, DolphJs blog, right? Posts. Yep, you see that there. So we have it. So now let's work on fetching, right? So we just created that for creation, and that was actually very fast because most of the things are actually done for us already, right? So let's say get posts, like get all, no pagination, nothing. We're just getting all the posts in the database. So this is an array of posts, right? Post model dots find, basically that's what we're going to do. Yep. So let me do for get post by ID too. So let's say I want to get a post by its ID, right? So let's say get the ID or string return this dot post model dot find by ID. So we get the ID here, right? That makes sense. Okay, so post controller. We could remove this grid, please. I don't think I'm using it. Yeah. So we're going to create our second endpoint, and I think get posts or fetch post. I normally prefer using this actually. I literally don't know why I use get. So response of the response, and what we're going to do is const post is equals to wait these dot post service dot get posts. So that's an array of posts, right? So I'll just basically have try catch a syntax the add get, right? So just a get, I'll just say slash post since it's slash post, and maybe I'll add these as all. Give me post slash all, right? And what again is missing? Okay, so we have to return, remember. So returning body, let's just return posts without any message. Yep. So we have our response, the body, and this. So let's restart our server. Yep, it's been added slash post slash all. I'll just duplicate these and it's posts. I call this fetch. What's wrong with me? I'm gets today. And slash all, right? We don't need any body, non-params. Yep. Send. Yep. And we have an array of posts. That was impressive. Okay. So now the second one, you can always see these logs here, right? You always get the logs. Now the second one, the next one rather, is going to be fetching post by ID. So I'll call this async fetch post by ID. You could use these, you could use these, everything is just preference. Okay, so post service dot get post by ID, right? So now this ID, we want to get it in the params. So as get, I want to get it and the params, as I said, try catch a syntax, and this is very simple. Request dot params dot ID. So whatever you have here, you have here. The params dot ID, and I'm going to make a check. If not post, that means post does not exist, right? If not post, throw in new not found exception. So we have different exceptions. If you look at these, and I think under here, you see different exceptions here, right? As you can see, different exceptions. We have the success response, error response, a lot of them. Take a look into the documentation to know better. So I'll say post cannot be retrieved, or post not found. Let's keep it simple, right? Post not found. Yep. else, if the post is actually found, what we want to do is obviously return it, right? So we have the body and the post, the body. Now these are third, and you can see how building is just so fast. We're building everything just so fast, quickly, as you can see, post/id. So how do we do this? I'll just duplicate. So instead of /all here, right? Yeah, instead of /all here, I'm just going to copy this ID. Yep. So fetch posts by ID. Yep, and we get our post. So if you want to, maybe change this with the wrong ID, post not found, and you can see the stack error, right? Not found, post not found, and all of these. Now if we were to switch, let's switch from development, right, to production. That's why I told you guys that there are some things that are removed in the production environment, and there are some things that are left in the development environment, and all of these have their reasons. Okay, you see the stack is normally, because you don't want to expose this to the user, right? You don't want the end user to see that stack. That's why in production, things like that. So that's one of the examples. So turning back to development mode. Okay, so now what's remaining for us to do? We just have the updates and the deletes, and we'll call it a day for this video, right? Record a couple of others, and we'll go deeply. So we're going to move in, redefine these, add things, add authorization, authentication, users. That's like basically autos, move into comments, creation of accounts, and a couple of other things. It will be fun. It will be a very lovely project, and I hope you're going to enjoy it and use DolphJs for your projects. And let's do the updates. So this is pretty simple. Update the posts by its ID. So let's take the ID as a string and our updates object as a partial of the I post. Okay, so I'll return this post model find by ID and update. So we pass the ID here and then update objects here, and here I'm going to return the new. So I'm going to, why I'm setting new to true is I want to return the updated data, else it's not going to do that. So this is for delete post by ID or string. So return this post model on delete by ID, right? Find by ID and delete. Okay, so these are the two that are left, and let's implement in our controller. So async updates post by ID. Okay, I see where this is here. We have to obey the syntax the way we started, the naming convention. The response. Okay, so let's try catch async take and update. I normally prefer using patch. I know a lot of people use puts and such updates. I'll leave it like that since we're using the ID already. Get the ID here. This one's going to use a use middleware, and we'll have the validate body middleware, but we want to validate something. So this is for create, right? So I'll copy this for update post, right? So for updating posts, all of them are going to be optional because you obviously don't want to force someone to update the title. You might just want to do it. Okay, so call this update post DTO. So that validate it for us here. So we have const post and these post service to update. ID is going to be the request operator to ID. Update object is going to be our DTO, which is actually request of body. Sorry about that, because already relying on auto updates on what this automatic stuff is crazy. IntelliSense, response, body, and I'll return the post, the updated post. So that's kind of very simple, right? So let's save that and have our fold, right? Our fold endpoint. Nice. So as you can see, yeah, that's full. So I'll duplicate this actually. Fetch post by ID. Yeah, I'll take this ID. I need it. Remember, this thing is like this. That's updated post. Patch request, and our body. Let's say we only want to update the title. First post update actually. That makes more sense to me. Yeah, so let's do this and see what happens. Yeah, so you see that we updated. You check your database and it has been updated, and you can see the updated is the current timestamp, which is different from the create header. Now for the delete request, I'll duplicate this. I don't need these, yep. Oh, I've actually not written it yet. Delete a post. This is how it's going to be, right? It's going to look like this actually. To be nobody. Okay, so into writing code, right? Async, move this into the class. Async delete post by ID. The request type of D request, where the D stands for Dolph. Response type of D response, and try catch async take at delete. So this one uses the delete. Remember, my auto update, my auto importer is importing for me. Don't wonder where I got him from. Okay, so return. I'll just do await it. This, or better still, there's something I love doing to verify this. I'll use this instead. Delete one. Then I'm going to use this where the ID is equals to this ID. Okay, so return a delete request, delete result rather. So I'm going to do const result is equals to await this dot post saves dot delete post by ID. We are passing the request of params dot ID. So I'm going to check if result dot acknowledged delete count is equal to 0. That means it didn't delete, right? And we'll throw a new, we'll call it internal server error because we don't know the reason. Let's just keep it, on the basics. Cannot delete posts. Yeah. Else return obviously a success response. Body message post deleted successfully. Okay, so now I just noticed something. I want to keep up with the way I did it. Yep. So created successfully, and there's actually something else I wanted to update some way. Yeah, when we make a create request, by default success response is 200 status code. See it here, 200 status code. I want to change the status to http status dot created. So that's basically is similar to me writing 201 here, right? So http status is gotten from DolphJs too. So this is our next endpoint, and you can see all of them have been registered. Okay, so let's delete it that does not exist and see what we get. Cannot delete post, right? Because it wasn't found, so delete count is 0. If you return it to an actual post, post deleted successfully. Let's try fetching that post, and post not found because it's not found. It does not exist in our database anymore. Yep. Okay, so this is the end of the part 1 of this video, and this video, I guess, and well, we're going to do simple CRUD operations with probably the most basic things. In the next video will be adding images, uploading images, and you see how uploading of images is so simple. We'll be doing a lot of, until we get to the next video, you know what's installed, right? So yeah, thank you very much.